Hey, my name's Nathan, this is the Future Game Show, and can you believe that it's been over 10 years since the release of Grand Theft Auto 5? As an audience, we've been so starved of Grand Theft Auto that when the original trilogy was re-released in 2021, it sold an incredible 10 million copies in its first few months, even though it looked like its very own Lego game and played about as smoothly as a Russian invasion.
The car is on fire, Flash!
But you think that's a lot? Well, Netflix have reported that the recently released mobile editions collectively raked in nearly 22 million downloads within their first 2 weeks of availability, which all goes to show, I think, that these three games are still very much relevant, even in 2024. So with Big Stolen Car set to release its 6th entry next year and leaking more heavily than your dad's bladder, what could it learn from that original three-dimensional trilogy? Grand Theft Auto 3. You know, after playing all the mainline entries again, Grand Theft Auto 3 stands very, very close to the top of the list for me. Thanks to dedicating itself to just 2 or 3 strong mechanics, this game kicks off at a lightning pace and it never lets up. It doesn't get bogged down in tutorials or cutscenes or phone calls or therapy or bowling or golf or yoga or stocks or property or long haul trucking. It's just good old-fashioned driving and shooting, like Jesus preached. And while the missions generally do have more simplistic objectives than later entries, this allows you the freedom to genuinely tackle them whichever way you like. Like, check this mission out, Sayonara Salvatore. You need to take out the head of the mafia, not on a date, with a rifle. So you can camp on the building opposite with a sniper rifle, do it stealthy, or go all John Rambo and storm the back door, or chase him through the streets and do a drive-by, or you could maybe even set up a trap at his mansion, wait for his arrival, and blow everyone and everything sky high within a 2-mile radius. I tell you, the mark of a genuinely brilliant Grand Theft Auto mission for me is one that feels like an exciting set piece, but it plays differently every time you do it. And honestly, it's been a revelation for me to realise that Grand Theft Auto 3 is just packed with missions like that. And you know, it's been well documented that Rockstar's games have maybe lost a sense of freedom over the years. Like, take Red Dead 2, which often threw a failed mission screen in your face for simply looking in the wrong direction. So let's hope that with Grand Theft Auto 6, Rockstar channel some of that Sayonara Salvatore goodness by giving us the option to tackle a mission however we like, rather than just punishing us for... Oh, come on! I'm not even
Playing the game right now. This is real life. You can't.
Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Vice City was released just 1 year after GTA 3 in 2002, and it's hard to put into words what Vice City means to people like me, weirdos. I've spent countless hours with it. I know the layout of the streets better than the ones I currently live on. Anyone I know who sincerely wears a Hawaiian shirt is instantly going to be referred to as Tommy Vercetti. It shaped my music tastes to the point where if a song doesn't have a synth in it or a lead singer now in jail for reasons that will get us demonetised to talk about, then I don't want to listen to it. Vice City, I don't think it's just a game. I think it's this lasting piece of pop culture. My generation's Mona Lisa, although please don't throw soup on my copy of Vice City, please. Why exactly is that though? Well, ultimately, it's a masterclass in atmosphere. It's this perfect fusion of neon and music and comedy and time and space and character to create this kind of living snapshot that I've been obsessed with ever since I first jumped on that moped and Billie Jean began blaring. It's a multitude of factors really coming together perfectly and imperceptibly to create a world that's just kind of fun to be in, to kick about in. You know, if you tell me that I've got 10 minutes until the asteroid hits, then it's probably going to be Vice City that I stick on. Yep. No, absolutely, Dad. Yep. See you in hell too. Okay, bye. And with the confirmation that Grand Theft Auto 6 is returning to Vice City, can they recapture that lightning in a bottle? Alright, Vice City can't match the polygon count of the PlayStation 5, but can Grand Theft Auto 6 make me believe Love Fist with a real band? And yes, I am an idiot, thank you, but it's actually technically a medical condition. And look, there's no mission in Vice City that pushes that 80s agenda more than Rob Out. You have to storm a perfect recreation of Tony Montana's mansion and take out the leader of a drug cartel. not on a date with a rifle again. Is it the best mission in the game? You know, probably not, but I still remember my childlike wonder to this day, probably because I was a child when I first played it, when upon finishing that mission, the game rewarded you with a mansion. The closest some of us will ever get to actually owning property in our lifetime, you know, unless we lose a cherished member of family. Fingers crossed. You know, no game had ever really surprised me on that scale before. And don't get me wrong, Rockstar are still great at surprises. Grand Theft Auto 5 had acid trips, alien invasions, and mansions of its own, but none of them made me feel as excited or surprised as when they said, hey, see this mansion? It is all yours, and there's a helicopter on the roof and an Infernus in the driveway. So as we all get ready to play Grand Theft Auto 6, which is technically the 8th mainline entry, how exactly do you surprise modern players? You know, I don't know. It's a tough one, but here's hoping that they keep that moment from Vice City in mind. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. And now, this is where things might get controversial, because I think San Andreas is probably the weakest of the original trilogy. Look, I do know. But look, even the weakest of this trilogy is still head and shoulders above 90% of other games, so I'm not saying it's bad, right? I love it too. I've got about 6 copies of it, calm down. Look, I get why people love San Andreas. It was a powerhouse when it was first released. We hadn't played anything like it, but it feels like it takes about 6 hours to kick off, as it has to teach you the house robbery mechanic, the long haul trucking mechanic, the spray painting mechanic, and it's just... It's the beginning of the pattern that bled through to Grand Theft Auto 5 and Red Dead 2, this obsession with countless side activities and additional gameplay mechanics that once I've had a shot of them, I rarely ever touch again. I mean, really, can you tell me that you spent a lot of time actually playing golf, or bowling, or yoga? I didn't. Did you? Stick it in the comments, I won't read them. Ultimately, San Andreas is a much more complex and varied game than the previous two, but that complexity means the game is constantly having to hold your hand, explaining things to you, pushing you to follow some sort of instruction that never truly lets you off the leash to be imaginative in how you tackle its tasks. Which is why when I come back to it in 2024, I feel like it's the one that's aged the most. But let's talk missions, because there's no denying that the Black Project, the Area 51 mission, is, oh my god, like a highlight of the whole series. Just like when the Queen died, we all remember where we were when we first got a shot of that jetpack. Aww. And only one of those events brought a tear to my eye. I'll let you guess which one. But I'm a huge fan of the mission that comes after it. Green Goo. Here, you have to utilise the jetpack to get yourself on board a moving train and steal a vial of some unknown green goo. Ugh. And for me, it's the mission I wish we'd seen more of in San Andreas, because it utilises a mad new gameplay mechanic that the game was so fond of, in this case the jetpack, but it still gives you the freedom in terms of how exactly you want to tackle the objective. Just like Sayonara Salvatore, every time you play Green Goo, it is going to go down differently, and that, to me, is the sign of a great Grand Theft Auto mission. These exciting set pieces that change every single time you play them. So here's hoping that Grand Theft Auto 6 finds that same balance between wild new gameplay mechanics and player agency in that perfect way that Green Goo did. And f*** it, more aliens, please, because they're always a laugh. It's always a laugh when they do some alien shit. So there you go, a couple of lessons I think Grand Theft Auto 6 could learn from its older siblings. But let's be honest, I don't think it's going to be Grand Theft Auto 3 or Vice City or even San Andreas that Rockstar will be looking to for inspiration. It's most likely going to be the digital hell on earth that is Grand Theft Auto Online. So let's look forward to more jet bikes, racist teenagers, and more grinding than a Tony Hawk's game. Oh well, we had a good run. God rest your soul, Grand Theft Auto. Hey, thank you very much for watching, especially if you got all the way to the end. If you enjoyed this sort of video, then I've got a whole lot more like them, so why not consider subscribing to the FGS channel? If you don't, I will have to send my dad round to beat up your dad, and I don't want to do that. Genuinely, I don't, but needs must, you know. The game is a masterclass in terms of atmosphere. It's this perfect fusion of neon.